All right, here goes.
What the fuck is up, everybody? Welcome to We Don't Know Sports, brought to you by the We Don't Know Network. I'm your host, as always, Ethan Ragsdale. And with me today, my co-captains, Absolutely Fucking Nobody, and also Absolutely Fucking Nobody. So I'm by myself today. I was going to say Rambo, but that doesn't even fucking make sense. I'm going solo. I'm by myself today, boys. Today's going to be hopefully a good episode. I've never done a pod by myself, but here we are doing an epi by myself. Doing it for the network. A couple technical difficulties with my boys, my co-captains. Life gets in the way, things get in the way, but we're getting our episodes in. Regardless, we're going to try to be as consistent as shit. I might miss a couple weeks here and there, but otherwise we're going to keep it coming at you. This week's episode, we're going to cover a couple things. We're not going to cover every single sport like we've been doing. I want to cover the things that hot topics right now. Cover some things that we've been talking about amongst our friends groups. We're gonna cover college football, NFL, and NBA finals. We're gonna go over the scores and sports stories and anything regarding those topics. We're gonna hit in order. So we're gonna go over some college football first. We're gonna hit some NFL, and then we're gonna hit some NBA finals. So as far as football goes, we're going to get college football, and then we're going to go the past scores this weekend. We're going to hit some upcoming games, and then we're going to get to the NFL. We're going to get the shenanigans that just went on this last week. We're going to go to upcoming games. I'll throw my picks at you guys, and then we're going to go over NBA Finals. There's nothing to predict for the NBA Finals, so I'll just recap that, but we're going to save that for the end. Let's get into it. I'm never going to do that ever again. All right. We just had Week 6 for the in NCAA football. College football Week 6 just ended. On Thursday, October 8th, so a week ago, we had Houston and Tulane. It was a good game. I watched most of that game. But Houston started to pull away at the end, 49-31. On Friday, I expected it to be a good game. I thought Mikhail Cunningham was going to go off against Louisville, Georgia Tech. That didn't happen. Georgia Tech put a pretty good whopping on Louisville. They won 46-27. It was surprising. Jeff Sims looked okay. 11 for 21, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, decent quarterback rating. Malik or Mikhail Cunningham goes by both. Not awful. 19 for 33, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 89.1 QBR. I was just surprised. Louisville's just really letting me down. 1-3 record, 0-3 in the ACC. Don't like that. Didn't expect that, but here we are. Georgia Tech didn't expect. I can't say I didn't expect that. 2-2 is not surprising, but the games they did win, went over FSU and also Syracuse. Didn't expect those, but they're looking okay. Clemson, Miami. The spread was 14 points. Miami was a 14-point underdog. I picked Miami to keep it within 14. They did not. They got blown out pretty late, 42-17. Trevor Lawrence. It's Trevor Lawrence, man. I mean, he had, 29 for 41, 292 yards, and 3 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. I mean, he was on fire. Derek King didn't look good. 12 for 28, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. I mean, but I'm not blaming Derek King. It wasn't Derek King's fault. I mean, he went up against one of the arguably the best defenses in college football. My take, it's the second best defense in college football behind the Georgia Bulldogs. So, it's not as much a Miami problem as that just good Clemson is. I still think Miami's good. They're a good team. I think they're third best in the ACC. That is just my opinion. I have them behind North Carolina and Clemson. So right there, solid at number 3. We got Alabama, Ole Miss. That was a game, man. That was a good game. I watched every bit of that game, every snap. Ole Miss, Alabama, 63-48. Ole Miss. The Lane train, man. Lane Kiffin is nasty. He knows what he's doing. He's a really good coach. He's offensive-minded. We saw that there. But what was real bad was the defense. It was insane. I saw some fucking ridiculous stat. It was like Ole Miss only stopped a possibility of 9 yards, if that makes sense to you guys. It was more essentially along the lines of literally Alabama took up all these yards that they possibly could have. Meaning, if they were on, I think literally Ole Miss only stopped about 9 yards the entirety of the whole entire game. So if say for instance Alabama was on the 10-yard line, 9 times out of 10 they got a touchdown. Yeah, they scored 63 points, and Mac Jones looked good, man. He looked good. I mean my words here. Mac Jones is better than I thought he was. I thought Bryce Young was going to take over that position. Mac Jones is 28 for 32 this weekend, 417 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception, with a 96.5 QBR. Matt Corral's the real deal, man. Matt Corral's the real deal. Real deal. John Reese Plumlee, not really playing, man. We thought he was going to be a starter, but he's not. Matt Corral, 21 for 28. 365 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. 95.4 QBR. So right there with Mac Jones, man. I mean, Matt Corral looks good. He looks good, but I mean, he can't play fucking defense, and their defense is just not that great. But it's Alabama, so it's expected. 63-48. Ole Miss 1-2. Really not bad. Really not bad. I mean, I'd be happy if I was an Ole Miss fan. I wouldn't expect them to come anywhere close to have a game with Alabama. I mean, 63-48 to keep it within 2 scores. It's not bad. Not bad. Next up, Tennessee, Georgia. We're not going to talk about every single one of these games, but a lot of these games are important. They were really good games. Georgia didn't keep it close, man. That defense is elite. They're elite. 44-21. They beat Tennessee pretty handily. Stetson Bennett looked okay. 16 for 27, 238 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had a good game, man. But that defense is just unreal. That defense is one of them games. Is Stetson Bennett, as long as he can just be a game moderator, they're going to be fine. Game manager, man. I mean, that's really what Jake Fromm was anyways. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say Jake Fromm was much better than Stetson Bennett. I mean, he had glimpses. He's obviously in the NFL. Stetson Bennett is not an NFL prospect now, so Jake Fromm had a little bit of consistency there. But his last year was not very good. Jarrett Guarantano, Tennessee's quarterback, not too good. 23 for 36, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. But again, that's like the same sentiment with Derek King. He went up against the best defense in college football. It's expected. Georgia, as far as talent goes, they have the best. They have the best defense. They have the most 5 stars, more than Clemson, and they're literally just the best defense on paper and in play. And as a Florida fan, I'm scared, man. I don't like that. I don't like it. But we'll get to that game coming up. Actually, right now, I'll go right over to that. Leaving Georgia, Tennessee. Georgia beat them handily, but Tennessee's on the come up. They're 2-1. This is no beat to Tennessee. They look great, man. I mean, they look really good. They're gonna pull off a couple surprise dubs this year. They beat South Carolina handily. They're a solid team, solid SEC team. Way better. They've already made a big leap from last year, and I know they've had some great signings in this offseason prior to this year, so they're going to be good. They're set. As long as Jeremy Pruitt, the head coach, can get their shit together, they'll be fine. That would be the only question. But as far as the team and the roster they have, they're set. Next up, my team, UF and Texas A&M. Texas A&M won last-minute field goal, 41-38. My Gators went down, man, 2-1. Texas A&M 2-1. But I gotta get off the page of this and look you guys in the eyes right now. Our defense fucking sucks. Defense is trash. Just doesn't look good at all. Texas A&M kind of did whatever they wanted. We made 1 or 2 stops. Did not look good really anywhere on defense. Up front was throttled. They ran all over us. Isaiah Spiller just kind of did whatever he wanted, man. 6.4 yards per carry. He had 27 carries. Holy fuck. 27 carries, 174 yards. 2 touchdowns, man. He had a 23-yard run with a long one. They just did whatever they wanted with us on the ground. Looking at the stats, it looked like they tore us up through the air. Looked a little bit better on while watching the game, but the stats don't do Florida defense any justice. 25 for 35, Kellen Mond. 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, man. Kellen Mond was on. Kyle Trask, dude, I mean, you couldn't ask much more of him. I thought he played well. 23 for 32, 312 yards, 9.8 yards average, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 92 QBR, man. I mean, you can't ask much more for Kyle Trask. And that Kyle-to-Kyle connection looked good. Kyle Pitts, my prediction, he's going to go top 10. Whoever needs a tight end in the NFL will get him in the top 10 next year. He had a touchdown again. I don't know how many he has on the year. It's multiple. I think it's like 5-6 touchdowns already. It's crazy. 5 receptions, 47 yards. So not his best game yet, but he's touchdown every game at least. And we've had 3 games so far. I believe he's had 2, 2, and 1. I think that is correct. That Kyle connection is looking good. I have no issues with our offense, and I'll get more on Florida's future when I get to next week's games here in just a minute. But yeah, our defense did not look good. Our offense can't ask much more of it. Texas A&M, they're going to surprise people, man. I bet on the under of their 7 games win schedule. I bet the under, but looks like I'm going to lose that bet. They're looking good. They only lost to Alabama right now. I mean, hey, there's an argument. If they went out, I'm not saying they're making the playoff. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, is it possible they're still in play? Absolutely. The only loss comes to Alabama. Alabama and Georgia potentially play twice. It could happen. It could happen. Notre Dame, Florida State. FSU going to FSU. They're 1-3. Only win against Jacksonville State last weekend. They're ass right now. Not much more to say. Not because I hate Florida State. Like, I kind of feel sorry for them and their fans. It just sucks, man. They got throttled 42-26 by Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 3-0. They don't look particularly good. I mean, I've watched most of their games. I didn't watch this game live. I went back and watched it all in a condensed version, so I watched all the plays, in book, whatever. 16-25, 2 touchdowns, 200 yards. It's fine. That's fine. Jordan Travis came in, though, for FSU. James Blackman was benched. Jordan Travis, 13 for 24, 204 yards, touchdown pick. I mean, I won't say they found their quarterback, but definitely an improvement. They at least got some points on the Irish, which was surprising. 42-26, but still, I consider that throttle. They got beat pretty handily, especially watching the game. So, yeah, Florida, no, what's the opposite of improves? Depreciates the 1-3. Awesome game here. I want to talk about it a little bit. UNC taking on Virginia Tech. No, UF's my team, but I love North Carolina. I always pull for the Tar Heels. A lot of people pick Virginia Tech to upset them. Didn't happen, man. So last year, Tar Heels lost a bunch of close games. This year, they're just not doing that. They're winning those games that would have been close last year. They just took that step up. Mac Brown, man, something else. Sam Howell is going to be very good, and I believe he's going to be very good in the NFL. But he's got 2 more years here, at least 2 more years counting the year he's in now. But the COVID year is going to be weird. This year doesn't count for anyone. So who knows what's up with Sam Howell. We'll get him for at least 1 more season after this year, guaranteed. But we'll see where he goes after that. He looked great, man. 18 for 23, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. 92.9 QBR, man. Hendon Hooker didn't look that impressive. Didn't play the whole game. Braxton Burmeister, how do you say that? I think it's Burmeister. Sorry, Burmeister. Braxton Burmeister. They kind of split. Hendon Hooker is supposed to be a starter. Didn't play all of it. They just looked a little lost. But they turned it on there towards the end. They only lost by 11. But I don't really think they were ever really in this game. UNC kind of won it pretty handily. And no, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team. I believe they're ranked number 5 in the poll. I do think that will change. Not necessarily saying that they're going to lose one coming up because they're playing all ACC schedule. But I just don't see them being a playoff caliber team, especially even if they go undefeated. I don't see them stacking up with the SEC 1-loss team. I just don't see it happening. But we'll see how that goes. I do like UNC. I like their roster. I like what they have. I just don't think they have what it takes to compete against the best. However, the rest of their schedule, they luck out. They don't play Clemson, which is hella good. They could go undefeated. I'm not necessarily saying they should. They have their last 2 out of 3 games are rough. Notre Dame at home and then away at Miami and here in the Miami Gardens. That's going to be rough. But up until then, they have a favorable schedule. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll come back and by my words. Maybe they make the playoffs, but I just don't see it happening. Not right now. Maybe next year. But they're looking really good. They're a step up from last year, where we see they had the potential and they're living up to it right now. Auburn, Arkansas. Holy fuck! Arkansas kept it close, 28-30. Auburn snuck it out 2-1. Not much to talk about. I mean, Auburn come off a pretty not devastating. They were expected to lose to Georgia, but they lost. They barely beat Arkansas here. Arkansas looks good, man. They look good. And Bo Nix is just not all what he's supposed to be. He's not very good. I mean, his stats are okay, 17 for 28, 187 yards, touchdown, whatever, 69 QBR, whatever. He just doesn't look good on the field. Doesn't look good on tape. Felipe Franks did his thing, man, 22 for 30. 4 touchdowns, no picks. Kept it close, man. Kept it real close. Arkansas, they have their win under their belt, which a lot of people didn't expect. Maybe they'll sneak out another. They kept it 2 within Auburn. I think this shows that Auburn's a little bit better than we thought they were, and Auburn is not as good as they're supposed to be. They're just not. 13's a little high. Their ranking, they'll drop. I just don't see that. So I think it plays to both sides. BYU beat UTSA 27-20. BYU was expected to win by way more, but who cares? A win's a win. They're 4-0. They're ranked pretty high. They're at 15. We'll see how they stack up, continue going forward. I love BYU. I've always enjoyed them. They're just one of my guilty pleasure teams. So they have a pretty easy schedule. They have Houston and San Diego State. They added those games later on, so we'll see how they stack up there. Then we got the Red River Rivalry. Wow, I suck at alliteration, but I fucking nailed that. OU beat Texas 53-45 in quadruple overtime. Yeah, man, that was a crazy game. I watched every snap of that game as well. It's a good game. The one comment I want to have here is shut the fuck up about this slander about Spencer Rattler. The man, I'm not going to look it up, but I believe he's 19 years old. He's a fucking true freshman. If he's not 19, he's 18. Whatever, pick 2. He's a fucking child. And people want to talk about his ego, all this shit. What the fuck ever? Grow the fuck up. Who cares? He's a good quarterback. Oh, they're 2-2. Fuck off. Like, the losses aren't on Spencer Rattler. And if you say they are, you're not watching those games. You're not. And you can at me, you can talk to me, you can fucking text me. I don't give a fuck. Spencer Rattler is not the reason they were 2-2. He was 23-35, 209 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. No, it's not great, but he is definitely not losing those games. He is not the reason they are 2-2 in any way, shape, or form. Their defense has always historically been bad. That's why they get throttled in the playoffs. But this year they're worse than usual, and I think we see defenses across the board. Big 12 SEC defenses are playing badly, and honestly, it's mainly because my opinion, this consistency that I see with everyone is probably lack of preparation, coronavirus policies, not just being able to practice, things like that. Defenses aren't able to get it together, and that's just what we're seeing. And that's why, we're seeing the 2007 maybe football season all over again. Teams just lose kind of out of nowhere. I'm not expecting these losses. But, hey, it is what it is. Spencer Rattler played okay. Sam Ellinger did not play the best, 30 for 53, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 287 yards. Didn't play very good. So not phenomenal quarterback play here in the Red River Rivalry. A lot of rushing touchdowns. Sam did well rushing. He had 4 touchdowns. So he was efficient, but he didn't play very well in the pocket. Rushing game here, but Sooners took it out in quadruple overtime. It was a banger of the game. It was an awesome game to witness for sure. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I predicted Oklahoma to win this game. I took them -7, so I eked it out. They won by 8. Barely won it, but it was a great game. I do feel for Longhorns fans, but no, they're not back, and I don't know if they'll be back anytime soon. Herman's gotta go. Okay, Texas Tech, Iowa State. Iowa State won that 31-15. Virginia, NC State won that handily, 38-21. Shocking there. South Carolina put a blasters on, 41-7. Vanderbilt's 0-3 in the SEC. South Carolina's 1-2. South Carolina's no slouch, man. They get shat on because they're in the SEC. They play tough teams, but they're a good team. They kept it up with us, Florida, last weekend. We didn't win it handily. We won it, but South Carolina were definitely in it. They look good. Colin Hill played all right, 16 for 24, shy of 200 yards. Duke put it on Syracuse. That was surprising. Duke improved to 1-4 after they were 0-4. Syracuse 1-3. Yes, so Duke won 38-24 here. They won handily. Chase Bryce looked good. I watched a couple plays of this game. Wasn't super interested, but I watched towards the end because of the score. Shocking to see Duke beat him up like that. Won by 14. Chase Bryce, 22 for 38, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He looked good, though. He looked good on the field. Stats aren't the best, but he drove them to a win, an ACC win. I didn't think Duke was going to do anything at all this year, but hey, Chase Bryce got themselves a win against Big Orange. So, Army Citadel, battle of armed forces here, 14-9. Army takes that one. Let's see other games I want to talk about. Boston College eked it out against Pitt. I had them getting that there, and that's what happened, 31-30. Kansas State took it on TCU. I predicted that as well. I had Kansas State as an underdog. They were underdog here at TCU, and they won by a touchdown, 21-14. Other games happening, not too important here. Let's do SEC. Mississippi State lost to Kentucky. Holy fuck, 24-2. KJ Costello. He played LSU well and fucking dipped. That's what happened, fellas. He played LSU well and said goodbye. 36-55. 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about that game. KJ Costello looked like buns. So, yeah, holy fuck, Mississippi State. They beat LSU, and that's their win for the year. But that's what you're going to get with Mike Leach, man. Mike Leach is, that's what he does. He wins the ones he's not supposed to and loses the ones he's supposed to win. Not necessarily saying he was supposed to win Mississippi State, but they were favorites. I did pick Kentucky to win this game, even though they were underdogs, so I predicted that there, 24-2. Kentucky just beat them up, man. 2 points. That's fucking wild. Charlotte beat North Texas 49-21. Charlotte was also, I think, a small favorite, and they beat them pretty handily there. Missouri beat LSU. Holy fuck, LSU sucks. Missouri's 1-2. This does not show how good Missouri is. This shows the drop-off of LSU. Miles Brennan, I mean, he scored 4 touchdowns. He did what he could, but LSU just not, they lost 90% of their personnel. They brought back like a couple players from their championship squad. They lost Joe Brady. They lost most of their personnel. Eddie O is the only guy returning of any importance. Everybody else dipped after the national championship. They took those coattails and ran with it. So that was last week in college football. I'm going to scan through the games. We got a lot more to talk about, so I'm going to hit it pretty high here. So let's hit some couple big games this weekend. I'm not going to highlight every game, but I want to talk about the big games, important games. Let's talk about that real quick. So tomorrow we got BYU in Houston. That's going to be a fun game. We'll see how that ekes out. BYU is ranked 14. Houston's only played 1 game, right? So we don't know what we're going to see from them yet, but we do know they're undefeated as of now. But I got BYU winning this pretty handily. We'll see how it goes. A lot of people think it's going to be closer, but I think it's going to be within a touchdown or so, but we'll see. We'll see how it pans out here. I'm looking forward to that game, though. It's going to be a fun game for sure. That's some Friday night action for us, which is nice. So we get a couple good weekday games throughout the week, or throughout the season, rather. Let's see what Vegas has it at. Let me take a look here, boys. Sorry. Yeah, while I'm doing that, let's move on. Pittsburgh, Miami, that's going to be a good game as well. Miami's ranked 13. Pittsburgh's 3-2. Miami, I think they're coming off that tough loss against Clemson, but it was expected. It was expected for them to go down like that. Some people thought they were going to keep it a little close, but hey, it is what it is. That's what happens when you go against a powerhouse. I don't think there's going to be that much of a drop-off with this game. After this game at Clemson, so we'll see how that goes. Clemson, Georgia Tech, we don't need to talk about that. We know how that's going to roll. Clemson's just going to straight up throttle Georgia Tech. Auburn, South Carolina, this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a really, really solid game. I think South Carolina can actually do some damage here. Auburn has shown they're not as good as they were last year. I thoroughly believe that to be true. I don't really see them doing much of anything here against. Yeah, I don't see Auburn looking too glamorous against USC here against South Carolina. They're favorites, but small favorites. They're 3-point favorites. I don't see them putting on a great show. I do have South Carolina taking this one. They're better than their record, and I think they always are, but they have the potential. Colin Hill's on. He'll be on. I don't think Auburn has any fire under them right now. They do have a good record, 2-1, but they don't look good. They don't look good. That is for sure. Kentucky, Tennessee. It's going to be an awesome game. I think it's going to be a super close game. Kentucky come off looking good. They're only a 6-point dog here at Tennessee. Tennessee's a 6-point favorite. I got Kentucky with the points here. I got them keeping it close. I think that it'll be a close game. I might have Kentucky edging out. I know I did talk big about Tennessee, but I do like Kentucky, even though they're 1-2. But every game they've been in, it's been pretty close so far. Let's see. It's moving on. Kansas, West Virginia. Kansas sucks. I'm only talking about this because it's a Power 5 game, but Kansas is just absolute not fun to watch, and they really haven't been. I really got West Virginia. I got the Mountaineers looking good here. Mountaineers, yeah, they're favored by 22 points, and that's probably what it's going to be, a 3-point touchdown game. So we'll see how that pans out. Louisville, Notre Dame. Thought this was going to be a fun game, but let's see what Vegas has this at. I have Notre Dame just straight up throttling Louisville. I don't see him being much of a competition yet. Notre Dame is a 16-point favorite here. Probably have a 3-touchdown game against Louisville, so we'll see. Maybe Malik Cunningham can turn it around, but 0-3, I don't see them having any incentive to do anything. And we got Duke, NC State. I think NC State is going to win this game pretty handily. I think they're only a touchdown favorite. 5 points. But we'll see. Duke surprised me last weekend, so maybe they'll surprise me again this weekend. We got UCF and Memphis. UCF's actually favored here, 3.5. I'm definitely take the points of Memphis. I think Memphis will beat them here. I don't see UCF running away with this game by any means. Ole Miss and Arkansas. Ole Miss, Arkansas. Ole Miss is a small favorite at 2.5. I'll take those points with Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss will beat Arkansas pretty handily here. Arkansas has kept it close with Auburn, but I definitely think Ole Miss has a much more profound and explosive offense than Auburn does for sure. So we'll see how that goes. But I have Ole Miss. I'll definitely take the points with Ole Miss here at minus 2.5. Texas A&M and Mississippi State. This is going to be not going to say a good game. Mississippi State looked god-awful last weekend, scoring 2 points. Texas A&M is a negative 6.5 favorite. Texas A&M is a good team. Their only loss coming to Alabama. I think they're putting it together. They put it together in Florida. They look pretty bad against Alabama, but it's Alabama, albeit. I'll take the points with A&M at negative 6.5. So, yeah, I definitely have them winning the handily there. I'm skipping over some games, but we don't give a fuck about these games. So I'm just talking Power 5 pretty much. Important, fun games. Virginia, Wake Forest, they're both 1-2. UVA is a small favorite at 2.5. I think Wake may keep this one close. They're plus 2.5 dog. I'll take the plus with Wake Forest here, even though it is going to be a close one. It's not going to be a prolific, awesome, fun offensive game. It's going to be a probably ugly, not the most attractive game here. We got UNC and Florida State. Talked about that briefly a little bit ago. UNC is 3-0. Florida State's 1-3. UNC is a 13-point favorite. And in my head, I put the line at 14. So I'll take the points with North Carolina. I believe I'll take the minus 13 with them. I believe they're going to win by 2 touchdowns or more. I don't see Florida State putting up any fight in this game. The game of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, 8 p.m. Saturday evening. We got Georgia and Alabama. Georgia ranked 3rd in the nation. Fuck you, Georgia. Alabama 2nd. Both teams undefeated, 3-0. Mac Jones and the mailman sets him Bennett head off. Man, it's going to be a good game. I said in one of my group chats that Georgia's going to be a favorite at minus 2. I was wrong. I'm recency biased like a motherfucker, but they looked hella good last weekend. Alabama's a 5-point favorite. It is at Alabama. That's definitely going to play a favor at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. So we'll see. We'll definitely see how that goes. I got Georgia. Man. I got Georgia. I don't really have much to say. Their defense is just so good. Alabama really hasn't. I mean, they're okay. They've shown me what they've always been. They haven't shown me anything extra. But I have Georgia. I'm not saying I feel confident in the win, but I do have +5 with Georgia. I'll take those points there for sure. I think if Alabama's winning, so a 1 or 3 point game. Boston College VT. Boston College 3-1. Virginia Tech 2-1. I don't like this line. 11.5. I've not been great betting lately, but Virginia Tech is 11.5 favorite. I'm taking Boston College plus 11.5. Smashing that plus 11.5. And actually, I'm going to make that my lock of the week. I don't see VT putting up at 11.5 on Boston College. They've looked really good. Boston College is 3-1. The games that I've watched them, they look solid. And of course, the big bummer of the week, Florida, after I think like 19 positives of coronavirus. That number may be incorrect, but it was quite a bit. Enough to cancel the game with LSU. It's postponed. It's moved to December 12th now, I believe. I know it's in December. LSU 1-2, Florida 2-1. It's going to be a good game. I have Florida winning, probably a minus 10 favorite somewhere in there. That game is now postponed. All right, folks. spent a good amount of time talking about some college football. Let's move it along. We're going to NFL. So first, what we're going to talk about last week's games that ended last night because it is a Wednesday evening. And we had a game on Tuesday. So we're going to recap the weekend. Last Thursday, Buccaneers, Bears eked it out 20-19. My Panthers beat the Falcons 23-16. Something else, man. We're 3-2 right now. Weird. We started out 0-2. We are 3-0 without Christian McCaffrey. Is that a correlation? I'm not saying it is. Raiders beat the Chiefs. Pretty crazy game. 40-32. Cardinals beat the Jets 30-10. Eagles, Steelers. Steelers won that 38-29. Rams, Washington football team. Rams won it handily 30-10. Bengals and Ravens. Holy fuck. Sorry, Joey B. 27-3 Ravens. They're just dominant. They're a dominant team. Obviously, dominant defense. Only 3 points scored on them. Like, what the hell? Texans beat Jaguars. I know I'm going fast. I'll talk more about the teams when we get into next week's games and future predictions. I got some more time to spend on that. Texans and Jaguars. Texans 30-14 over the Jaguars. Texans got them a W. Deshaun Watson had a good fantasy game. Dolphins throttled the fucking Niners 43-17. Holy cock. Didn't expect that. Dolphins 2-3, 49ers 2-3. They're coming off a Super Bowl hangover, Super Bowl loss hangover. They're not looking good. 2-3, not expected. Nikki B being out is not helping 49ers in any way. Browns beat the Colts. I've always said if I was not born in North Carolina and the Panthers didn't exist, I'd be a Browns fan. Browns are now 4-1. They beat the Colts 32-23. And don't let this fool you. Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback, and the Colts defense is solid. They're a good defense. Baker Mayfield, 21 for 37, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not great with the 2 interceptions, but I'll take it. He got the win against a great defense. Colts are a great defense. I have them in my fantasy league. I know some leagues don't play defense. One of my leagues do. And they're producing for me every week. They're not hurting without Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt looks good. And we'll talk more about the Browns in this upcoming week's game, and that's going to be a good preview game. Giants and Cowboys. Cowboys eke this one out 37-34. Prayers up to none other than Dak Prescott. All jokes aside, I know I like to joke a fucking lot, but holy shit. Prayers up, man. That was ugly. I remember breaking my fibia, my tibia, my ankle about 10 years ago all in one go, and it looked a lot like that. Just lost. It just dangled. I mean, it looked bad. No connection whatsoever. It looked bad. So prayers up to him. The Gooch Slayer himself, Andy Dalton, coming in and eking out the win for them against the piss poor Giants at 0-5. Going to end up with T-Law next year. Them are the Jets. Cowboys improved to 2-3. NFC East is still up for grabs. Vikings and Seahawks. Man, I fucking hate the Seahawks so much. They're 5-0. They're undefeated. They're going to get a playoff spot. It's going to happen. Russell Wilson didn't look that great in this game, but who cares? They won. DK Metcalf is a beast. 6 receptions, 2 touchdowns. 15 yards per catch, which is fucking nasty. Russell Wilson, 20 for 32, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Looked really good. He got sacked quite a few times. Got sacked 4 times in this game. Kirk Cousins looked good, though. 27 for 39, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, Vikings were in it, man, but they let the Seahawks come back in, and they won. Improved to 5-0. Does nothing for the Vikings. They didn't really need to win this game. They're 1-4. Their season's already laid out for them. They're going to be a top 10 pick guaranteed next year. So just go ahead and gas that motherfucking thing up. I just marinating on this game because it was rough. I really wanted the Vikings to knock off the Seahawks, but that didn't happen. Prayers up Dalvin Cook. He looked good. He went out with a groin injury. He's most likely out for 1 week. So we'll see Alexander Madison, who came in last week. We'll see him this weekend most likely. It's not stated yet, but that's most likely what's going to happen. Then we got the Saints and the Chargers in overtime. Fuck the Saints. They improved to 3-2. So keep their season hopes alive. They're tied with us, the Panthers, at the top of the NFC South. But they beat the Chargers. Justin Herbert looks good, man. I mean, if you're listening to this and you're into sports, you know Justin Herbert looks good. He's 20 for 34 this weekend, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He's got a fucking cannon. I mean, I'm in no way am I saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but he has that arm. of Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. He definitely looks the part. He got a long way to go, but he looks like he has that potential. His arm's there for sure. So Justin Herbert's the quarterback of the future for the Chargers. Book that easy. I have no qualms saying that whatsoever. Bills Titans last night's game, 42-16. Fuck the Titans, man. 4-0. And I have no hard feelings for Titans. Never been a Titans hater, but just the way everything's handled, the league's catered to them. They haven't had to forfeit a game. They fucked up 2 weeks in a row because their players got coronavirus and their opponents took consequences for the Titans' actions. So yeah, just really shitty all around, and shitty that the Bills lost. Took their first loss, 4-1. Josh Allen looked fine. Just Titans capitalized on turnovers. And Ryan Tannehill, man, he looks good. 21 for 28, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 195 yards. Not too many air yards, but he looked fine, did what he needed to do, and they won. So yeah, that's a recap of last week's games. So, upcoming, we can talk a little bit more about it. Probably keep you here for 20, 30 more minutes for the show. So, it comes up first, my team, so we'll talk about my game first. Bears-Panthers, man, that's going to be a good game. Panthers, 3-2, Bears 4-1. Wow, it's at Carolina. They're a 1.5 point favorite. I didn't expect that only because we're in home. Otherwise, it'd be a Bears pretty bigger favorite than 1.5. I hate it, but I got Bears taking this game. I don't think we're going to eke it out. Bears just look really good, even though Nick Foles doesn't look that great. But I don't think we got it in us to pull this one out. I think we'll go to 3-3, and we're going to be mediocre like we always are. We'll end up winning 5-6 games, and we're going to get a fucking 10-11 pick, and it's not going to matter, and we're not going to get a franchise QB. It's just how it's going to go. That's how it's going to go for us. So yeah, that's what's going to happen. Texans, Titans. Yeah, Texans are 1-4. Titans are 4-0. Definitely got Titans taking this one. Derrick Henry's a beast. He fucking manhandled Josh Norman. Threw him a mile away last night. Josh Norman fell off the fucking TV screen. He got yeeted to tomorrow. That was nasty. Earl Thomas fucking got PTSD from seeing that. So yeah, that was wild. Ryan Tannehill again looks fucking nasty. So yeah, I got Titans there. Bengals, Colts. Bengals 1-3, Colts 3-2. Colts took a loss last weekend to a very good Browns team. Yes, I said very good. Yes, I meant very good. I got Colts taking this one though. Bengals aren't very good. It's going to be some rebuilding with Joey B and the Bengals. Falcons, Vikings, battle of the toilet squad. Falcons are 0-5. Vikings are 1-4. Minnesota's a 4-point favorite because they're at home. I got the Falcons taking this one. I think they'll eke out their first win. Falcons are coming off a tight, highly contested game against the Seahawks. They're drained. They don't have anything in them. Falcons will be a little hungry. They're coming off a loss to the Panthers. I got the Falcons in this one. Broncos and Patriots. Cam Newton will be back in this game. Patriots finally come back. I got Patriots winning this. They're a 10-point favorite. I set the line in my head at 14 points. I think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns. Patriots are winning this game handily. Cam Newton's going to look good. Who knows if Melvin Gordon will play? News broke. Melvin Gordon got a DUI last night, going over like 30 miles an hour of the speed limit. Not looking too good for Melvin Gordon and the Broncos. Broncos are 1-3. Don't expect much from them. So I got the Patriots there. Washington football team, Giants. Holy poop magnet. Washington 1-4, Giants 0-5. This is another toilet bowl matchup. I got Washington football team taking this one. They do have one win, but Giants did keep it close this last weekend. But still, I have a Washington football team winning that one. Ravens and Eagles. That's a no-brainer. Ravens 4-1. However, Lamar isn't looking like he did last year, but Ravens are still 4-1, and their favorites here big, 7.5-point favorites. And I got the Ravens winning this one at Philadelphia, pretty big. The game of the weekend. Browns and Steelers. Pittsburgh's 3.5-point favorites. Steelers are undefeated at 4-0. Browns are 4-1. I got the Browns taking this one, winning, and make it my lock of the week. And yeah, this is not an easy one to pick. I could have picked Ravens and Eagles. That'd be my lock of the week if I wanted to be easy. But I'm not making it easy. My spicy hot take, Browns take this one. And I'm making it my lock. It's going to happen. I'm betting on Browns to win outright. Lions and Jaguars. Lions are 3-point favorites. 1-3. Jaguars 1-4. I don't like that. I got the Jaguars taking this one at home. I think they'll beat out the Lions. Lions have nothing to win. They're always less than mediocre. I got the Jags in this one. Dolphins and Jets. Jets just let go of Le'Veon Bell. Who knows where Le'Veon Bell will go? I'll cover that next week when he lands with the team. Dolphins are 2-3. I got the Dolphins. They're going to come out 3-3 in this one. They're 9.5-point favorites. I might take the points with the Jets, keep it a little close, but I'm still taking the Dolphins. Definitely going to win this game in Miami Gardens here at Hard Rock Stadium. So, yeah, got the Fins in this matchup. Buccaneers and Packers. Packers are 4-0. Buccaneers are 3-2. Fuck. Packers are going to take this one, I think. They're a small favorite at 1 point fave via Vegas, but I got Packers taking this one small. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised, though. Definitely not going to make it my lock or anything. I know I already stated that. But don't feel confident in any sort of scenario picking the Packers, but I do have them edging out this game against the Buccaneers. So we'll see how that goes, but I would not be surprised if Tom Brady just comes out on fire. Rams and Niners play a Sunday night game. Niners are 2-3, not as good as they were last year. Rams are 4-1. I think Rams will have a bounce back game here, but I don't think they're going to win this game. I got Rams on this one. Chiefs Bills. That's going to be a good game. Bills coming off a loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. Bills coming off a loss to last night from the Titans. And I do have one bounce back team, and that is not the Buffalo Bills. Sorry, fam. I got a lot of friends who are Bills fans. But I got the Chiefs taking this one. It's going to be a good game. But playing at Buffalo. But I got Chiefs winning this one. They're a 3.5-point favorite. I got Chiefs -7. So I think Chiefs take this one. Monday night game, Cardinals, Cowboys. Cardinals 3-2, Cowboys 2-3. Cowboys got nothing to play for. Their season's lost. It's gone. They lost last weekend when they barely beat the Giants. They lost because Dak's gone. The Gooch Gnu, Andy Dalton's taking the lead here, but I got Cardinals taking the dub. That's my pick for that week. So yeah, no, it went kind of fast, but I wanted to get all the games for you guys. I wanted to get everything all the way through. So we got college and NFL done. Last little segment we're going to go over here, guys, for the week is the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals ended 2 nights ago, Sunday evening. Lakers won the game in 6 against the Miami Heat. Miami Heat, I predicted back in July, our very first podcast, if you want to go back and listen to it, I predicted Lakers Heat final, Lakers in 5. So my Heat did a little bit better. They took it to 6 games. Lakers won 4-2. They won that game 106-93. That was not how the game was. They were about like 30, almost 40 points at one point. Heat didn't have anything. Jimmy Butler was averaging like 40 points a game. Or excuse me, 40 minutes a game. He was playing almost every minute. It was just wild. It was, it was obvious to see that's how it was going to go out. I really, really wanted the Game 7, but just didn't get it. And that's fine. It is what it is. I thought if we get a Game 7, it's a new world. It's a new year. It's a new everything. Right? I just thought it would be a clean slate for the Heat. If they get it Game 7, they can restart. They can just go from the beginning. But Lakers didn't let that happen. Lakers did not let that happen. They beat us pretty handily, 106-93. LeBron James was LeBron James, man. He improves to 4-6 in his finals record. He had He had 28 points. Yeah, and he looked good, man. Over 50% shooting from the field, 13 for 20. Anthony Davis looked pretty good, 19 points. But they had the good other contributors. Caldwell Pope went off for him, 17 points. Danny Green played a little bit better, 3 for 7 from 3. That's what he does. He's a 3-point shooter. Yeah, he got all that slander in Game 5. But they still won, so everyone who gave him that slander, talking all that shit, hopefully they ate their words. All the death threats, all that bullshit is just fucking absolutely unnecessary. It's ridiculous that had to happen. Yeah, you can talk a little shit, make fun of Danny Green for missing a shot. But threaten his wife, come on, man. Come on, grow up. It's ridiculous. I don't really have much else to say. I expected the Lakers to win for sure. Like a bet man, mind man with my thinking, with my brain. I knew the Lakers were going to win this. Obviously, I'm a Heat fan through and through. Since moving to Miami, I've really, really become a true Miami Heat fan. I really do love that team. I really am invested in this team. And I couldn't be more proud to be a fan of the Miami Heat than I am now for taking us how far they did. Really, no one gave up, man. Everyone played their fucking ass off. Lakers are obviously clearly the better team. They should have swept us. They should have. No, not hating on the Lakers. But Miami Heat had all heart, bro. That's just who I am as a person. I love heart. I love underdogs. That's why I love this Miami Heat team. They really, really busted their ass to get this production. In the final game, Bam Adebayo was powering through his neck injury that he suffered in game 1. 25 points. Butler didn't play that well, 12 points, but he played 45 fucking minutes. I mean, Jesus Christ. He had 3 minutes out that game. Just wild. He really played his ass off. And I have nothing negative to say about Jimmy Butler whatsoever. I'm happy he's on my team. I'm happy he's a Miami Heat guy. I'm glad he's a South Beach guy. I hope he stays here. I really think he will. Before he came here, I predicted him to be one and done, kind of like he has been doing, bouncing around. He was Chicago, then T-Wolves, then Philly. But no, I think he's a South Beach blood through and through, really, really, truly. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get one missing piece. We weren't expected to be here. No one expected us to be in the finals. No one predicted that. So maybe we'll draw some suitors, maybe Giannis. Who knows who's going to come to South Beach next year? But it will be one piece that I think that missing piece that we'll need to maybe give the Lakers or the Warriors a battle next year. And the Warriors are definitely not out of it. People thought they died, but no, Clay and Steph just got hurt and they lost KD. But they're going to be back in the mix. They're going to make the playoffs next year without a doubt. They're going to be in the mix of the Clippers and Lakers again, depending upon what the Clippers do. But we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I'm happy we got to 6 games. Of course, I want us to win, but coming from a fan perspective, we did literally everything we could. Dragic came back, he played 19 minutes, only had 5 points, but hey, he tore his plantar fascia, so he was dealing with some heavy fucking pain, probably shot up with some killers, to push through this game. But, nothing negative to say about my team, nothing negative to say about Miami Heat from an unbiased perspective in any way. I think they played their best game. The best series. This is, you play this series 10 times, I think Lakers beat us 9. And that's what happened. We stole 2 games, and I'm happy with those 2 wins. That will forever be. Yes, we're second loser. Second place is the first loser, but I don't give a fuck. I'll take that first loser title here. I wish Brian was here on the episode with me so he can speak from the other perspective. Being a Lakers fan, I'm a LeBron supporter, always have been, but it was hard. It was hard to be a fan of basketball and watch this series because I never rooted against LeBron. This is my first time ever really rooting against LeBron. But yeah, he got his 4th shit, man. 4-6. That argument, he's 4-6, whatever. Michael's 6-0, but how many times I'm not saying I'm not picking LeBron on this MJ argument, but how many times has MJ lost in the first round? It's multiple times. LeBron's never lost in the first round. These are pointless stats. He has 4 rings. Look how many times he's brought nobodies to the finals. LeBron's one of the GOATs, man. He's either 1A or 1B. And MJ's 1A or 1B. That's my opinion, and that's just how I feel that argument goes, and that's what you think about next. You think about the big argument. Who is he the greatest of all time? Is he the best? And if someone says LeBron is the best of all time, I'm not going to have a counter argument for that. I'm not going to say no, MJ is. If someone says MJ's the best time, I'm not going to have an argument for that. It's hard. It's a really hard choice. Especially being a millennial born in 91, I did get to watch the end of Michael's era, and I do remember a little bit of it, 96, 97, 98. I would have been 5, 6, and 7, but I remember the tail end of it, I think at 7 years old, watching it with my dad. So watching him win a 6th ring, I remember that. And of course, I remember him come back with the Washington Wizards. That was unfortunate, but of course, I do remember watching that live. But that whole argument goes, you pick who you like. I still might edge out MJ if I had to pick one. But I love LeBron. I always love LeBron, and I'm glad he got his 4th ring. Just hate to have to come against my Heat team. But I'm just glad, like I said, we made it to the finals. But yeah, guys, I think that'll do it for us this week on We Don't Know Sports from We Don't Know Network. We covered college football, covered NFL last week and this week, and just went over NBA. So we'll cover some hockey. I'm wearing my Panthers J. We'll cover some hockey coming up. We got it coming back in December. So quick turnaround with hockey. Didn't cover baseball today, but we'll cover it when I got some guys with me next week. We'll cover some baseball. But yeah, that'll do it for us this week for We Don't Know Sports, brought to you by We Don't Know Network. Thank you for sticking in. If you listen to me blabber to my fucking self by myself the whole time. Had a couple delays, technical difficulties, pulling some stuff up. But I did the best I could by myself. So I appreciate you guys. If you listen this far, I love you. I didn't expect anyone to listen this far, so if you did, thank you for tuning in the whole episode. Hopefully you got your sports knowledge, sports fix for the week. I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Do something fun this weekend. Go eat some good food. Go hang out with some friends. Tell your loved ones how much they mean to you. Call your grandma, right? Do something nice. I love you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.